much for staying tuned to today's edition of This Morning on ITV. I am Wilson Omasho. Today is quite loaded because from the three network centers we'll be having one or two discussions that will be of great interest to you. So I want to urge you to sit down, relax, listen, and of course you get to realize how far we've gone democratically and how far we have gone when you talk about the growth trajectory of Nigeria. Are we accelerating? Are we going forward? Are we really growing? What do you feel about that? Well, today for the Benin Network Center is all about the threat of Donald Trump. Yes, he has reaffirmed it, and of course our NSA, they are saying that the military should be ready in case of an incursion. People like Axe and has got into that. Donald Trump said, look, you have to act fast. He didn't say just going to attack. He said if you do not act fast to put XYZ in check, then I may just come in guns a-blazing. So you have a time frame. Some are saying that Nigeria is going to push back, and I'm asking, push back what? Push back who? Yes, it is true that the killings cuts across both Christians and Muslims, but we've not heard of the Muslim community crying out that they are being killed. But the Christians have been crying out like ever since all these things began. Yes, we have moderate Muslims, and sometimes they too, they fall into the hands of these persons carrying out the nefarious activities, killing, maiming, raping, to the extent that even some persons in the northern part of the country are afraid of going to the farm. Some communities have been run over by terrorists, by bandits. It got so bad that in some parts of Katsina, Maiduguri, you just name it, terrorists are now the one in charge of some local governments, allegedly, to the extent that they now live in synergy. Nobody disturbs the terrorists don't disturb anybody. They are living as one united community. Yes, they came out with their guns, saying now we want peace. I'm in Katsina, want peace, so let's work in synergy. And in some local governments, some parts allegedly, that terrorist group that once in charge of security, that the ones in charge of the economy, for you to go to the farm, you have to pay XYZ to them for protection. It is true. Christians also have been killed. Muslims too have been killed. But he said it's just only Christians that's what people are having issues with. Well, we're going to take a look at this, yes, in-depthly, because analysts from the U.S. will join us today, and of course from Nigeria definitely will be with us here in the studio to share their thoughts and of course their opinions in the ongoing, some people call it Royal Rumble, so to speak, between U.S. and Nigeria. Nigeria right now is in the spotlight. How are we going to wriggle out of this situation? Wake-up call really for the presidency. Remember, Trump didn't say disgraced leaders. He said disgraced country. We will come to that. Well, Dominic Amy says standing by from the Abuja Network Center. Dominic, good morning. What are we expecting from Abuja Network Center this morning?
A very good morning to you, Wilson. Of course, it's a delight to be on the program this morning on ITV. Definitely, the discussion is, or it goes across board, the issue of the United States threat by Donald Trump to see how to come into Nigeria in terms of looking at the genocide, which has been tagged Christians killed in numbers in Nigeria. Just like you rightly mentioned, it is not about religion, if I put it that way. Both religions have been killed. Nigeria is supposed to be a secular state where government has no business to do with religion, but does not mean that you fold your hands and look at things or put your eyes away while persons are being killed from different communities. But we just hope that the government will be doing all that is possible. At this time, we are not praying for any invasion by the United States. We are looking at dialogue. What should the government be doing at a time like this to see how we mitigate this issue of insecurity? I think that's what the U.S. wants us to do. We should be able to tackle insecurity in our country. Most persons, like you mentioned earlier, is a disgraced country, not a disgraced leader, but most people put it on the tables of our leaders who have failed to do the right in terms of tackling insecurity. If you look at the media this morning, you see that Chad has close its borders to Nigeria. Why? Fear of bandits or insurgency moving away due to this threat. This is what we want to hear, that these persons are put on their toes. By the time Nigeria decided to bring its own power or war power on the floor, you see that the insurgency will definitely be scared and they will leave. And that's what this threat is going to do to them. From what we are hearing now, most of them are beginning to look for escape route, but we don't pray for such to happen. If you look at what happened in Iraq, you definitely wouldn't want such to happen in Nigeria. But I know that the federal government is doing everything possible to dialogue with the U.S. government to see how we don't get to a situation whereby we will regret what the outcome will look like. But that would be also our focus from our Abuja end this morning, I will say.
Thank you so much. Dominic is all about security situation, of course, the warning by the U.S. to Nigeria. Remember, there's a caveat to it if you do not act fast. Well, from our Lagos Network Center, moving away from security situation, we have Ms. Selina Nkwo, and I believe that you're diving into politics. Mercy, good morning. What should we be expecting from you this morning?
Good morning, Wilson. Good morning, Dominic from Abuja. It's a beautiful day here in Lagos, beautiful weather. And of course, I'm not alone. Patricia Gilbres is here with me. Hi, Patricia.
Hi, Mercy. Good morning, Abuja. Good morning, Benin.
Okay, Wilson, basically from Lagos today, we would be looking into politics. We saw October 15th last month, we saw that the governor of Bayelsa State, Diri, he resigned from PDP, but he didn't tell us the party is going to, you know, but there were a lot of speculation saying he's going to the APC. So yesterday we saw that he officially announced that he's now part of the APC members, and some other officials, you know, defected with him. And couple, for some days now, for some months now, we've been seeing a couple of defections of governance defecting from one party to the other. And what got a lot of people talking yesterday is the fact that during the celebration of his defection yesterday, we saw that the vice president was there, Kashim Shettima was there to celebrate with him. And also Godswill Akpabio also was also there, the Senate's president, to celebrate with him. And it got a lot of people talking. According to him, it said the defection is for the betterment of the people of Bayelsa State, that he knows that that is the right option and that is the right decisions to make. So basically, that is what we'll be talking about today. And for the Trump and Tinubu all shenanigans, I mean the shenanigans that have been happening in the country, insecurity and all of that, you know, Trump saying that he would bring his military people to Nigeria and also, you know, those people that are terrorizing the Christians, Christian genocide and all of that. I don't know, a lot of speculations, a lot of people saying on the internet. Some agree to what he's doing, saying it will help, while other persons are saying that Nigerians, it is a wake-up call for a president, you know, to put the house in order. If your house is in order, you know, the president of U.S. would not be saying that he wants to come and help Nigerians. It's because a lot of Nigerians have been crying out to him to come help us. So let's just keep our fingers crossed to see what will happen next. Patricia.
Now, yes, Mercy, you talked about the U.S. and the American shenanigans, if you ask me that. Okay, so for me, a lot of people are saying it's a welcome development. But I don't know. I have no personal what to say about it. But I just know that this hit up from America will set up the military here in Nigeria to fight insecurity. And I hope that happens. And also a lot of people are saying they do not expect the president to go to the U.S. I mean, they don't, our president shouldn't answer to the American president. So like Mercy said, we're going to be keeping our fingers crossed to see what's going to end this. But I know that this push is going to make the security here in Nigeria get better.
All right, thank you so much, Patricia, for that wonderful comment on the situation. We talk about the U.S. warning Nigeria. Well, let's dive a little bit into politics. Mercy talked about the resigning from the PDP. They didn't want anyone to know the party that is going to, you know, have this particular agreement with right now. It is with the APC. Patricia, do you feel that this might just be weakening the chances of opposition in Nigeria come 2027?
Well, for me, like I've always said, it's as if the country is, running into one system state, because one party state, because everybody is defecting to APC. And then this is one governor that PDP had holding strong, because he was standing for the governor of Rivers State when he was passing through his issues. So we all thought that he wasn't going to move. It could be the last PDP governor standing. But we saw what he did. He resigned, first of all, from PDP. And we were all wondering what party is he going to next. And now he has said he's in APC and saying that that decision was for the good of his state. So the question now is, how good is this good? What does it mean by the good of a state? Does it mean if you don't join APC, your state might not, develop the way it's supposed to develop, or things will not happen in your state? We would like to know what good this good is.
All right, well, Dominic, you heard Patricia. That's a very, very sounding question. How good is this good? Now, what do you feel about the South in general, falling to the hands of the APC?
Well, it's quite unfortunate at this time we're having such a disgrace, kind of, like I mentioned earlier, disgrace country. It's not against
It's like we are having this technical hitch from Abuja Network Center. Now let's go back to our Lagos Network Center, because this particular discussion is of great interest. Now, if you take a look at what is really happening in Nigeria, you take a look at the power, so to speak, being, wielded by the APC. It's just like it's APC all the way. The question now is it healthy for our democracy? Mercy.
Like Patricia said earlier, the state is starting to become like a one-party system. I would say that for PDP, they need, like some of our guests will always say that PDP, they need to wake up, because seeing a couple of defections, like I said earlier, different governance defecting, and we all know that PDP is the main opposition party to APC. Now that a lot of defections have been happening, people defecting from PDP, governance and other officials defecting from PDP to APC, what is next for PDP? Do they still stand a chance for the forthcoming 2027 election? That has been one major question everybody has been asking. Now that PDP, we all know that the main opposition party in this country, Nigeria, is PDP, and now PDP, a lot of defections, a lot of people leaving. Do they still stand a chance? It has been one major question. So let's just see, according to what Patricia said earlier, Diri has been one of the governor affected. And finally, first, PDP, that he didn't announce his party yet, but there were a lot of speculation saying that it's going to the APC. And now he has finally announced, did the celebration and party and all of that, I'm officially now a member of the APC. It has got a lot of people talking. Do PDP still stand a chance for the forthcoming 2027 election? So we are keeping our fingers crossed to see what happens next.
All right, yesterday there was this march to the PDP secretariat by, a faction of the PDP leadership, the acting chairman, so to speak, saying PDP is definitely going to come back alive, bigger, better, stronger. But with the case in courts, in the Federal High Court that suspended the convention of the PDP, do you feel that you have enough courage, enough strength, enough stamina to stand up against the APC in the forthcoming election, Dominic?
I think the issue of the convention is an inter-party crisis, because from what the court said, they did not follow the process that was supposed to be done before that convention will take place, and the court instructed INEC not to conduct that convention. But like what you mentioned earlier, it was a chaotic situation at the Wadata House here in the FCT, where PDP fractional, if we put it that way now, because we're having fractional leaders now trying to get those under the support of the present minister of the FCT, that is Wilson Wike. Those factions were the one that took over the secretariat yesterday. And like you mentioned, what's for the PDP going into the 2027 election? This is one of the things we have been talking about. Some persons are afraid that the country is moving towards a one-party state, and that's not what we want. The beauty of democracy is when you have political parties giving free will to contest. But from what we've been saying so far, just like Patricia was there, what is the good of the state? They're going for the good of my state. You've not been saying in your state. You want to depend on the federal might, and that's not the case. You were elected to provide for your people, to take care of your people. So it means you've not been doing anything. I'm not against any party, anybody defecting, but what we're saying is that the tenets of democracy must be maintained. If you're being elected to provide for your people or to take care of your people, please do that. I don't have government.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dominic, and of course, Marcelina and Patricia. So you see, we are set for you this morning. We're going to dwell more on the security situation. And of course, politically speaking, definitely you're going to be hearing from the three network centers. So sit back, relax, don't go away. We'll go for a break. When we return, it's all about the papers. Do stay.
ITV, certainly the best.
It is that time for us to take a look at the papers this morning. Let's see what they have in store. Quickly, let's peruse through some of the headlines. Daily Sun. On the Daily Sun, we have this screamer. How Buhari's refusal of help raised U.S. eyebrows. Now, that is a screamer on the Daily Sun. Let's move on. Daily Trust. U.S. threat, what FG should do, says diplomats. Pre-Wike NWC faction takes over PDP secretariat. Yes, we talked about that briefly. All right, two major headlines on the Daily Trust. Moving on. New Telegraph. Chad closes border with Nigeria over possible U.S. military action. And tension at PDP HQ as faction loyal to Anyanwu takes over Secretariat. Punch. Governors battle Wike as PDP faction jostle for control. Now that is, a screamer. We have this one here. Governor's pool. Amopiton visits Anambra. Parties sign peace accord. Yeah, that seems to be the first test for Amopiton new INEC chairman. Let's move on. Vanguard. Trump, NSA service chiefs meet because of what Trump said. Yes, he said, if you do not act facts, XYZ will happen. Let's move on. The Nation. Diri adjoined APC to stop Bayelsa from being buried with PDP. Now that is truly a strong comment. I'd like to take it again. Joined APC to stop Bayelsa from being buried with PDP. Does it mean that he has lost hope totally in the PDP? Let's move on. I think this will draw curtains on this edition, which the headlines a review, so to speak, of our dailies. Remember, it's all about politics and, of course, security. Some are saying politics and security go hand in hand. Now, what do you feel about this? So we'll go on a break so we can tee up with our first discussion segment. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
ITV, certainly the best. 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 ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this TMI Tuesday's edition is all about what is happening, yes, in Nigeria related to the warning given by Donald Trump. If you do not act fast, underline that word, if you do not act fast. I've been talking so much about this. But with me here in the studio, a security expert. When you talk about security, lives, properties, what and what to do to safeguard yourself against external, internal invasion, is a one, two. You know, pick one or two advice from Jimmy to welcome Sheriff Azeke. Welcome to TMI.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we're here today. It's no longer news that Donald Trump has made this comment. He reaffirmed it some few days ago, saying that he said what he said because of the report he heard about the genocide in Nigeria targeted against Christians, and it has raised so many reactions. Some are saying, you saying that it's just one particular religion that has been affected. It is not correct. Others are saying, yes, he's very correct in the sense that more Christians have fallen, so to speak, to this terrorist and, of course, bandit. As it stands right now, Nigerians have been talking about it. As a security expert, what do you feel about Donald Trump's comment in relation to what is happening in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I think Donald Trump is weakening the system. Making everybody to sit well. Personally, I'm seeing it from a different dimension. The dimension in which I'm looking at it is there's already a kind of reawakening, a spark by both the security agencies, both the federal government, and both the citizens. Because all this why, it's like we are not too handling security matter very, very serious. And security issue has been going on. It's not today that these terrorists have been killing the citizens of Nigeria. It started long ago, and it's like the actions that have been taken, they are not much proactive, because every day we still hear this thing going on, people being killed wantonly, and it's like there's fire on the mountain, and nobody seems to be running. Nigeria was not like this. Some years ago, Nigerians could sleep with their two eyes closed. Nigerians could travel in the night without fear. Nigerians could do certain things without looking back or forth who is going to hurt whoever. But today, everybody is scared. You are traveling, you are afraid. You are at home, you are afraid. You are going out, you are afraid. Farmers are afraid to go to the farm, So the whole thing is very, very wide. And people keep on talking about this security issue because Nigerian problem, number one, is insecurity. Number one problem of this country is insecurity. If I would say number two problem is insecurity, I think I'm not wrong. Because security is the bedrock in which anything can thrive, no matter what you want to do in life. Security is your foundation. If there's no security, there'll be obscurity. And the primary purpose of government is to protect the lives of citizens. And this aspect is not proactively taken. And every day we hear of this killing, every day we hear killing. But now, Donald Trump is coming up with something, and everybody is running up and down. But the issue there is that, whether Donald Trump or not Donald Trump, we should collectively come together and fight this monster called insecurity, not as a religious thing, but as Nigerians. We should put religion aside, we should put politics aside, we should put personal interests aside. We should come as a people, as a nation, to address this one thing that is troubling us called insecurity.
Just one thing troubling us is called insecurity. Well, you're a doctor in your field, and I believe that you have in-depth, knowledge when it comes to how to secure life and property. Some are blaming Donald Trump that he's taking this too far. After all, you don't have the right to say that you want to invade another country if XYZ isn't done. What's your response to that?
Everybody has his own opinion.
Yes.
And everybody is entitled to his own opinion. But in the other world, Nigeria is a sovereign state. You cannot just come in and do whatever you want to do. We must understand that aspect. But I think the government should sit tight at this time, because the government have never had this pressure from any angle But now they are getting this pressure. So it's going to cause them to have sleepless nights to address this issue holistically. What I will expect the government to do is not to confront America or to confront Donald Trump, but to dialogue. There should be a diplomatic expression where these two nations come together and see the areas in which they can agree in the touching this aspect of insecurity.
All right. Now, let's take a look at the situation right now. Some are saying that what Donald Trump said is correct, that Christians are the worst hit when you talk about security situation. But others are saying that is completely incorrect. From your own analysis, you've been in Nigeria, you do your job in Nigeria. From the reports you've gathered, is there really a genocide against Christians in Nigeria?
One thing about security is that when we are not sincere in handling security matter, because when people are not sincere, there will be insecurity. Insincerity breeds insecurity. When we see lights and we call it darkness, when we see blue, we call it black. I think there's a problem somewhere. The killings have been going on. Nobody should tell me that there are no killings going on in this country. Mass killings. Go to the YouTube, you will see this thing. They are not AI doctored videos. But the issue of genocide, genocide is a systematic way of erasing a race or a religion. People have been talking about it's against Christian, the genocide on Christian. If you look at it very well, sincerely, Christians have been more, they have the upper side in the area of killings. A lot of Christians have been killed when it comes to this issue of insecurity. But we should not just peg it on that one, because anyone that is killed in Nigeria is a Nigerian, and we should look at it from the angle of the Nigerian factor, the Nigerian perspective. That, because when you are talking about Christians being killed, and you put it on that, you will not see the other side of it. As long as the killings are going on, but Christians are more killed than any other group of persons. But apart from Christian, other group of persons, religious persons, they are also affected.
All right, so let's say it cuts across board.
Yes, yes.
All right, now some of the opinion that Donald Trump really is not really hitting at the presidency. He's talking about the country. So how come people are now heaping the blame on Mr. President? After all, these insurgencies started way before he became Mr. President.
The president inherited this issue. But anything you inherit, you should be able to address it very well, because one of those things, your campaign promises that you are going to address insecurity. Before you campaign, these things were already there, and we expect him to really address this thing fast. And Donald Trump talking about this issue of genocide and the rest. Let's look at it very well. Donald Trump is not talking about attacking Nigeria. He's talking about attacking terrorists. That is where we have to really capitalize this whole thing. He's talking about addressing this issue of terrorism. So Nigeria should look at it from that angle. Have a diplomatic talk with America and see how America can also support Nigerian security agencies in the area of technological weapons and intelligence gathering and so on and so forth to tackle this issue.
You talk about intelligence gathering. We have an intelligence. You get some governor says, look, we know where they are. You get to hear some military personnel, police personnel, or security agencies saying, until we get the order, we cannot flush them out from X, Y, Z. How is a situation like that? So tell me, how is it about information sharing? Everything about security sharing. We have this, all this while. So what is preventing them from taking action?
That is why I talk about sincerity. If you don't handle security matter in a sincere way, you will breed insecurity. Yes. We should be straightforward when we are handling security matter. We should not be biased. We should not be political. We should not bring religion into it. We should be straightforward. And the intelligence gathering is supposed to be for everybody. It's not only for the security agencies. And I want to say here that we are talking about security. I have a big problem in addressing this issue. Just like you have a house, you build a fine house, but the house does not have a fence. What do you expect to happen to that house? Nigeria is not fenced.
It's not fenced.
Nigeria, that is one of the biggest things we should be talking about. No matter what we put into this country in the area of security, no matter the manpower, no matter the machines, no matter the technology, if you don't check your borders, you are not doing anything. It's just like somebody using basket to fetch water. You can't take anything home. Nigerian government should look at the porosity of our borders. Nigeria has one of the most porous borders on earth, and very vast. Chad is there, Niger is there, Cameroon is there, and then we have 4 countries sharing borders with us. We should look at it. The whole system is porous. Anybody can enter this country. Anybody can bring anything to this country. There are a lot of weapons in this country. Where they pass it, it's the porous border. We talk about building roads, beautiful. We talk about electricity, beautiful. Even the money they put in this coastal road, if they should gather it and handle our borders very well, to an extent, no matter what you do, if your borders are not protected, you are still wasting time.
You are still wasting your time.
Yes.
Now, right now, it's not that Chad has already blocked its
Yes.
borders, saying because of the fear of an incursion.
Yeah.
Now, some are saying that sometimes countries sharing borders with us, they might be in collusion with these terrorists. How true is this hypothesis? Because you talked about 4 countries surrounding Nigeria, which you are very, very correct. Let's say our borders are porous. We have countries sharing borders with us. Are they in collude with these terrorist organizations?
Where are these terrorists coming from? They pass through our borders. They don't go through the airports.
Because our borders are being flanked by other countries.
Oh my. They can go through any other country and come into Nigeria. Definitely. If these countries are weak, they can pass through these countries and come to, because Nigeria is their focus. Like somebody said, if Nigeria get it right, Africa will be redeemed. That's why you see more pressure in this country called Nigeria. If our government should take proactive measure in looking at the borders of Nigeria and see how we can manage these borders very well. If you cannot fence the border, you use technology to do it. We're in a technological era whereby you can use the satellites to monitor your borders and know who and who is passing. Because our borders, look at our country. We are faced with so many things. We Nigerians, if I tell you that we are besieged, look as if I'm going too far. We have a lot of people in Nigeria that we don't know. Even as I'm coming to the studio, I saw a lot of people who are not Nigerians. Where did they pass? What are they doing here? Who are they? Who is profiling them? Who cares about these people? These are potential criminals in the making. When they discover that nothing happens to them, they can do whatever they want to do because they enter this country with a mission. Just check the road between Benin and Abuja. Every day we see trucks of people coming to this direction. Nobody's asking. When they drop the ship, all of them will be offloaded and they enter the bush. Our forests have been taken over. Even our environment where we stay, we see some malignants, we see some kind of people we don't know. Nobody asks. I have traveled, I've been to some countries that before you enter the country, the kind of way they will check you. I went to a place, they said all the Nigerians, if you are a Nigerian, come this way. If you are not Nigerian, go that way. I was watching. They lined us up and they were taking whatever, try to know who and who is right or wrong. Other countries, they were doing thumbprinting while we were doing capturing our eyes. And I asked, why the eyes? They said, because we are Nigerians. The street shaking when you come to the borders and the entering of other countries. But Nigeria, we only focus our attention on the airport or maybe the seaport, but what about the borders? People are entering this country on a daily basis. So there's no way you can fight insecurity when you don't solve your border problem.
Border problem.
Yes.
All right, now you've heard Dr. Sheriff. We want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue this discussion. Don't go away.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. We're taking a look at the situation right now on the ground about Trump's comment about Nigeria's security situation. I have with me here Dr. Sharif Azeke, security expert. Now, you're talking about porous borders, that no matter what you do, once the borders are porous, it's like we are doing nothing. Now, how do you think we can really check our borders?
We may not be able to fence our borders for now.
Yes.
But the best way to do it is to start. You start doing it. Then we use technology, use the drone, use the satellite to check what is happening, who is coming and who is going out, and what they are bringing and what they are taking away. And you also increase the manpower of immigration officers, those people, border of police, those people who are in charge of border control. You recruit more persons. The personnel, they are very few. Recruit more persons into that direction. Let them check what is coming in, because if you don't check what is coming in, you're in trouble. They can bring anything to this country. Look at Nigeria, it's like a dustbin. Anything comes in. Go to the market. The waste things that people have used over there, Nigeria is like a dumping ground. Where are they passing? Are we talking about arms? To bring arms to this country is not a difficult thing when the borders are porous. So if this aspect of it, the federal government and the security agency, they will look at it very well and give it a priority. To an extent, we are solving this security issue. But if that is not done, we are wasting our time.
Well, now let's take a look at the sophistication of weaponry carried by this personality. You know, 2 weeks ago, was it a week ago, Governor Zulum, or one of the governors in North, complained bitterly that these guys now have access to technology vis-a-vis drones.
Yeah.
I mean, with this kind of advancements in tech, with this kind of weaponry that they have, which they exhibit, look at Nigeria, really need help, even if from the U.S., undermining what Trump is saying, or the way he's painting it. I don't think we need help from the U.S.
But we claim not to need help. We claim to be the big brother, the giant of Africa. So we don't really need this help. Even right from the time of the former presidents, these things have been on. Indicate the Bear says, when the hunter shoot without missing, they will fly without permission. And these terrorists, they've discovered new ways in which they can terrorize a system. They are using technology. We ought to use technology. We don't need to use manpower to address this thing. This is a technological era. We should address insecurity with technological advancement. We can make more progress in that direction if we use technology to address insecurity. But our technological level in addressing it is very low. Very low.
Very low. All right, join us from the U.S. is Ahmed Momo. Momodu, good morning this morning.
Good morning, Wilson. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, viewers.
I believe that due to time disparity, you're unable to join us on time, but I know that you are conversant with this particular situation. Nigerian security and, of course, Trump's stance giving Nigerian government a marching order to act very, very fast. What can you make out of all this?
Well, there's a lot to unpack in this issue. And again, let me thank you for asking me, inviting me to join you and air my views on this matter. So what has happened is that we've been bombarded by the President of the United States to say that the security situation in Nigeria is harmful, particularly to people of the religious Christians who are being killed at random or who are being targeted for killing. So what he has done is to give Nigeria a marching order that in the event that they are not able to contain the situation in the shortest possible time, he is going to have to send troops to come and curtail the situation, to come and remedy the situation. So on the one side, it's a laughable thing, because for him to say he's going to send troops, the first question I would ask is, where exactly is he going to send troops to? Is he going to send troops to Lagos? Is he going to send to Abuja? Is he going to send to Maiduguri? Is he going to send to Port Harcourt? Where exactly is he going to send troops? On the other hand, we're not saying that the security situation in Nigeria is a desirable situation, but we are saying that it needs to be addressed with reason, with tact, with a long-term plan, with the emphasis on protecting life and property, and not just bluster, not just political showmanship. The president came from a meeting in France, in China, where he was roundly chastised for his failed tariff policy, and he was looking for a whipping boy. And the easiest one he could find at that time, is, as far as my estimation is concerned, is Nigeria. He was whipped in China, he was whipped in Taiwan, he was whipped everywhere else he had gone. All of the Asian economies have moved on beyond his bluster and his bravado and his cowardice. So he came to a convenient whipping boy, and who is that? Nigeria, to come and tell us how to mind our business. Currently in the US, as I speak to you, the government is on shutdown. It's shut down by his party, the Republican Party. It's shut down whereby tomorrow, almost 20 million people are going to go without food if there is a resolution is not found quickly. Now, what is he doing about all of these things? Instead of coming to face the reality of what is going on in his country, he issues a threat halfway around the world to say that Christians are suffering a genocide. The terms of a genocide have been clearly defined. There is no part of Nigeria where a genocide is going on right now. Yes, people are being killed. Yes, it is unfair. Yes, the security situation is one of grave concern. But to call it a Christian genocide is beyond imagination, because people are dying on both sides of the religious divide. Christians are dying, Muslims are dying, and then the joining of where all of these deaths is connected is because of banditry, is because of terrorism, is because of people that are taking laws into their own hands, is because of clashes, is because of sectional clashes, ethnic clashes, religious clashes, and in some cases, even communal clashes. So to simply just lump all of this and say Christians are being persecuted, or is it beggars belief? Because to my own mind, I don't know where that is happening. I stand to be corrected.
Thank you so much, Momodu, for giving us your own view, because you talked about the vast nature of Nigeria. Where is it going to send the troops if really want to, do what he has promised to do? But Trump is known with one thing. Whenever he says something, he likes seeing it through. All right, now talk about the internal problem the U.S. is having right now. They'll be able to resolve it because of the shutdown of the government, so to speak. And 20 million may just go without food because there is no money. But if you take a look at Trump's concern, someone is saying that it's truly an iota, or not even an iota of truth, that he speaks the truth. Even if you don't like the way he colors it, but the truth Is the truth that people are being killed in Nigeria. Christians are being killed in Nigeria, even Muslims also. They're being killed. Now, what do you think the government's response should be? You get to hear the NSA having a meeting with the joint team saying in case there's an incursion. Is that the right response?
I think Trump issue is a wake-up call for our security agencies and the federal government as in the big picture. I think everybody needs to really come to the drawing table and see how we can tackle it. We can solve our problems. We don't even need America to come and solve our problems if we are sincere. That's why I say sincerity is very, very important when it comes to addressing security matter. Because where there is no sincerity, there will be insecurity. The government should be sincere enough to give a marching order to address this security issue holistically. We know everybody is being affected. Whether you're a Christian or you are a Muslim or you are whoever you are, everybody is affected. And one person killed, a Nigerian killed, should be a concern to everybody. But we are getting to a point whereby you hear 50 people killed this morning, everybody is just moving, it's like nothing happened. We should have this concern for each other. We should have we should be our brother's keeper when it comes to this issue of security. And there's something I advocate for some time now, which has to do with security awareness. The government is not doing much in this area of creating a kind of atmosphere, a platform for security awareness. The citizens should be much more educated. They should have education in this aspect of security, awareness, enlightenment, and high sensitization. These 4 factors: enlightenment, education, sensitization, and education. If we are educated in this direction, everybody will sit tight and become security agent. We don't need the police everywhere to come and address our issue. You're already a police of yourself. And if we address it from that angle, we are trained from that angle, we are educated, we are sensitized, the way COVID-19 was addressed. When COVID-19 came, you see the high level of sensitization. Even the woman in the village knows how to wash her hands. This distant issue, the government took it very high. If the government can take that spirit into this security issue, sensitize the people, let this level of sensitization be very high. I'm security conscious, we are security conscious, everybody's security conscious. To an extent, we can solve the problem.
All right, let's go to Momodu right now. You heard him, he said everyone's security conscious, but what do you feel about, excuse me, the reactions of Nigerians vis-a-vis the NSA leader, so to speak, saying that the security chiefs should come together, they should get set. Some are saying that get set for what? Do you want to fight against the US or get set to really fight the people causing the problem? What do you feel about the NSA reaction right now?
I agree with the doctor. I agree that time has come when we must treat each loss of life as one life lost too many. The time has come where we must tell our government that everybody that is dying needlessly. The time has come where we must all stand together and try and resist. But these things are not happening in isolation. I will not stand as the spokesman for the government, but if you look at the challenges that have been wrought in the last, let's say 20 years, as far as insecurity is concerned, starting from, you see, the irony is when the US president talks about a situation in Nigeria as if it's happening in isolation. The major problem that brought this escalation has been the illicit flow of arms, small arms, medium arms, and large arms from the destruction of the Libyan state. Libya was a militarized state. Libya was a country that manufactured its own weapons, and it had weapons in abundance. Now, the destruction of the militarized state that allowed small, medium, and large-scale arms to just find their way across all of Africa is what we are seeing the result of today. It is not just something that happened overnight. Now, for the US to come back and say they want to come and step into Nigeria in a situation that they are aware that they created, it beggars belief. So, but what do we do as a people? We need to come together. We need to be our own brother's keeper. We know that our military is undermanned. We know that our police are undermanned. We're talking of a force, a combined force of all the armed forces that is less than, I want to even say less than 5 million. If you join the police, the army, and the navy, and the air force, I don't think they're up to 5 million. let's just exaggerate and say 10 million. For a population of 200, almost 300 million people, that is completely ridiculous. And then when you think about the land mass of Nigeria, let me just give you a simple example. When they keep on talking about Zambisa Forest, you would think that Zambisa Forest is a small place. If you take Ibadan, Lagos, and some other of the southwest states, it will fit into Zambisa Forest very easily. That is the landmass that we're talking about. How do you police such a place? Are you going to send all your resources just to police that area? It is impossible. So we need, like the doctor pointed out, we need to come to not just technological advancement, we need to look at how to allow our own people possibly even to arm themselves against some of these bandits. We are talking about bandits that roam freely, unchecked, because there are large expanses of land that the federal government cannot, in all good conscience, cover easily. So we need technological assistance, we need human assistance, we also need self-help. I think the time has come when Nigeria needs to look at how people will arm themselves so that they can defend their own lives and their property against these marauding hordes. Now, it will be interesting for me to point out at this point in time that a lot of these things that we say are just Fulani headsmen, for example, etc., etc. The Fulanis themselves are not strictly of one particular religion. There are Fulanis who are Christians. There are Fulanis who are Muslims. There are Fulanis who are also pagans. So when you look at things in one way, you miss the large narrative. There's a lot that needs to be done, and it needs to be done fast to secure the lives and property of Nigerians. And this is something that we must keep on pressing our federal government to take as priority.
Thank you so much. Well, you heard him. He said you're correct in all that you said, but some are expecting that instead of you calling the service chief to say you are getting set for a possible incursion by the U.S., why not use that zest to fight these people causing the problem, to fight the people that made the U.S. president to talk to us as a country the way he did?
Like I said, it's a wake-up call for everybody, not just the government, but the citizens. And we should be very proactive. It's not a matter of we want to address, we want to combat, we want to confront Trump or the U.S. It doesn't call for that one. When somebody calls you are stupid, it's telling you not to be stupid. It's not an insult, but just telling you not to be stupid. What Trump is saying right now is that everybody should sit tight. Like what he said, let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
The security situation is very, very tense in Nigeria. And the people who are managers of security, they are few. They are very few. Look at the police. They are not to 500,000. How can less than 500,000 police officers police a country of about 250 million? That is a suicide mission. Even the military, they are few too. That is why they need to be a kind of approach to that direction. Increase the manpower, increase the weaponry. Even the police, I keep on saying, even the police is underfunded and undermanned too. The police, they are very few, and the government should put more attention on the police, fund them, give them good equipment to handle this issue, even the military also. Then, but in the bigger picture, Nigerians should be carried along. It's not the security issue is not meant for uniform people. It's for everybody, because security affects everybody. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, or you're a traditionalist, security is not the respecter of this religion. It's not the respecter of political position. Like the scripture which says, when the wall is broken, the serpent will bite. We should look at where the wall is broken, and everybody come to the drawing table and see how we can fight this thing holistic. Nigerians are dying. Nigerians are being killed every day. We should come as a team, not as a political body, not as a religious body. We should come as Nigerians. Look at Italy. After building Italy, they began to build Italians. We are building Nigeria, but not building Nigerians. It is high time to focus on the citizens. The protection of every Nigerian is a great task by the government, to see everybody in this country, we are protected. That is what we are looking at. It's not an issue of religion or political ethnicity or whatever. We should come together as a team and fight this battle.
All right, now let's get straight down to US, where Ahmed is standing by. So we should come together as a team to fight this battle? Well, former President late Muhammadu Buhari did something which Nigerians are still reeling over, saying what he did was a huge mistake by allowing people to come in without visa. Do you think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should revoke that particular stand, at least for us to have a grip of our borders?
So when somebody comes in without visa, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person is undocumented. It simply means that the process of entry is relaxed to allow them come in. But they will still have documents, they will still have proof of his entry and his residence, etc., etc. You are still going to fill out an entry card that tells the destination where you are going, where you are expected to be contacted in the event of any emergency, etc., etc. So some of these things are taken out of proportion. What the administration needs to do beyond just the simple things that we see every day is to take a more serious, a more holistic look at several aspects of the security enterprise, not just the security architecture. The citizens is very important. Just like the doctor pointed out, the citizens have to be inculcated into our security architecture in such a way that the people themselves feel like it is part of their own progress, is part of their own benefit when they secure their environment. Right now, as it is, if a marauding force comes into a village, nobody is armed and they are not able to protect themselves in any way. Some of these things have to change. We really need to look at if there's a situation where there are outposts that are manned by citizens themselves who are trained essentially, just like it happens in Israel, for example. They have military training. I think it is 2 or 3 years. It's compulsory. Once you reach the age of 18, you must undergo military training. You learn how to shoot a weapon, and then that weapon is kept with them for the period of that training. Some of these things are things we need to inculcate. Perhaps if we look at the NYSC as a starting point, where it is not just used for what it is done right now, but some sort of military training where people are taught how to handle weapons, some kind of militarization that allows the citizens to be able to act on a different way, not just as a response or to be sitting ducks whenever they are attacked. Some of these things these are larger conversations that we have to have.
All right. Now, you talked about enlisting to the military because Israel, they have a plan. They still have it to date. Once you get to a certain age, you must serve. You talked about the numbers of police personnel, army personnel, Navy, you just name it. Where you try to, compare with the population that we have as a nation, they are overwhelmed. Should what he suggested be implemented? Once you're 18 and above, or you are serving the National Youth Service Corps, there must be an automatic enlisted into the military, into the police, into the army, you just name it. At least to combat insecurity, at least to show up the numbers.
I think sensitization education in this direction should be a priority. It's like we've missed it somewhere. Can we just still miss it from the down? This younger generation coming up, let's do something about them by really educating them when it comes to the nitty-gritty of security. Before you get to the school, at least that first week, the first week of resumption should be used for security orientation. We have orientation camp. Every school, if the government can come up, put security as a curriculum in our syllabus. Don't physics, chemistry. At the end of the day, you finish secondary school, you finish university, you cannot even define the word security. That is our problem because we lack this understanding about security. Let it start from the primary school. As you resume school, the government should make it a compulsory thing. 1 week, that first 1 week should be orientation program for everybody to be security conscious. You give them the nitty-gritty of security. So that throughout that school period, they will carry this picture of security consciousness, personal security, environmental security, and put security as a course in the curriculum. In the curriculum. Let it be a general thing that as you finish secondary school, you must have gone through security training. You don't wait. Not everybody will go to university. At least that thing will be there, that as long as you pass through secondary school in Nigeria, you must have gotten security understanding on how to self-defense, self-protection, be conscious of your environment, know who and who is around you. That thing should be inculcated in the minds of every Nigerian. So as you grow up, everybody will be more security conscious. That consciousness should be there.
All right, now, Ahmed, do you agree to his suggestion saying that security, how will I put it now, teachings about security should be included in the curriculum of our schools, from secondary schools, primary schools, university, even after NYSC, something should be done to give Nigerians that particular sense of being security conscious?
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's a laudable idea. I think it's something that should be inculcated, not just like he said, from primary, secondary, university, even people who are working. If we had a forum where, for example, I think it used to happen in the past, but I'm not sure. Then it was simply a matter of lining up people that have been convicted or caught for one crime or the other. But what he's suggesting is something that is laudable. And the idea is simply that the more people are security conscious, the less easy it is for crimes to be committed. Why is that? Because most crimes are crimes of opportunity. Crimes are crimes of opportunity. Somebody finds that somebody dropped something carelessly and then he picks it up. But when everybody is conscious of their surroundings, conscious of who is around them, conscious of all the activity that is going on around, 3 or 4 or 5 people can tell you if, for example, there's a robbery, they can quickly describe the vehicle that came, the plate number, the number of the occupants, the direction they are heading, what kind of weapons they were carrying, and how they looked to the security forces. You will see a drastic reduction in crime. So I think it's a brilliant idea. I think that and inculcating a security infrastructure that allows people to either volunteer themselves to be trained for security training or security awareness, that and some other laudable schemes like that will allow us to build a more secure environment where we don't only depend on the security services, but the citizens themselves feel like a part of that security architecture.
All right, now let me come to you, Dr. Sheriff. Now, you've given a lot about it, saying that should be imputed into the curriculum. But some of the opinion that the way the military allow people to come into the fold seems to be a major problem. They are citing religion, they are citing tribe, they are citing ethnicity, nepotism, tribalism as an impediment to enlist into the military, and they're now accusing the government of allowing a particular tribe or religion to be more into the military when compared to others. Do you feel that this is really what is affecting the enthusiasm of some Nigerians from other parts of the country to really enlist into the military, knowing fully well that they are overstretched?
I think to an extent, you may be correct. The religion of the military should be loyalty and service.
The loyalty and service?
Yes. Military does not have Christianity as a religion or Islam as a religion. They only have one religion, which is unity and service. So when you are coming to the military, you don't come with the religious mindset. You don't come with an ethical mindset.
But people are saying that that is what is happening right now.
But unfortunately, that's what we are seeing. It ought not to be so. It ought not to be so at all. But unfortunately, we are getting to that point. So we could come out from that aspect and treat the matter very, very neutral.
You just hold on. I want to go for a break. We'll return. We'll conclude the discussion. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. You can call it this morning on ITV. We're taking a look at Nigerian security situation, of course, the stance of President Donald Trump. We're talking about the process of allowing people or personnel to come into our military, being affected by religion, ethnicity, you just name it. Continue from there.
I think Nigeria first should be the picture. When you are entering the military, it's Nigerians first. Service, loyalty. We should put religion aside. We should put political connection aside or ethnicity aside and see Nigeria as the field in which we are going to serve. Patriotism is very important because the level of patriotism in this country is very, very low. We can kindle it again by making everybody look equal, making everybody feel belonging. You are not segregating one part of the section and focusing on one part. Neutralize the system. It's part of the insecurity we are talking about because insecurity has a lot of branches. When we say insecurity, our mindset will always go to terrorism and the gun and whatever. No. We should allow this whole issue to play. Then the issue of educating the people, which I said, please, is very, very important. The police, everybody should be a police. We should work with the police, we should work with the military. There should be no gap between the police and the citizens. If we come together, synergize together, because we are all partners in this whole thing, we are stakeholders. Everybody is a stakeholder. And if everybody is seen as a stakeholder, we'll see we can fight this thing headlong and solve it. That's why I said, we don't even need America to solve this problem. We can solve it ourselves. If we come together in unity, it's a small thing to address. Even in military, we have a good military, well-trained military. If they are giving the marching order, I'm telling you, 48 hours will be too small for them to handle this issue.
Well, we were talking years now.
Yes.
Are you saying 48 hours?
I'm telling you, my brother, we have what it takes to solve this problem. We don't need America. We have, if we are sincere, we have what it takes to solve this problem.
All right, let's get to hear from Ahmed as we are getting set to hand over to our Abuja Network Center. Ahmed, you heard him talking about the entrance into our military. Somehow said has been shrouded in ethnicity, in religion, bigotry, you just name it. How do you think this can be solved for us to really have easy access to join the Nigerian military?
So I don't think that's entirely accurate, Wilson, because if you recall, I want to say this was about 2 or 3 months ago. There was even an incident where the military had a recruitment process and they had to send people to scout in Edo State. I recall they met with the chief of staff to the governor and they made a passionate appeal that other nationalities were sending representatives to come for recruitment, but Edo State numbers were low. So I think what we need to address is not just the recruitment process. We need to address the mindset of our people that coming into service is not it's not something where you expect immediate rewards, but it's something of service, patriotism, it's something of giving to your fatherland, it's something of selfless service. Some of these things are not done properly. Possibly our people are not as enlightened as they are, as what it entails, but this is a civic responsibility in most parts of the world. It's something of pride. But we have a population now that think more in terms of what they can gain than what they can give. Some of these things need to be changed through social interaction, civic responsibility, civic studies, etc., etc. But by and large, it is the responsibility of everybody to give a secure environment if they expect a secure environment.
All right, thank you so much, Ahmed. And of course, thank you also, Dr. Sheriff Ezekiel. We'll now hand over to our Abuja Network Center to continue with this discussion. Dominic, over now to you.
Thank you, Wilson, for that intense discussion. Of course, we're continuing on that same line, looking at the threat by the United States President Donald Trump to tackle insecurity in Nigeria. And I have my guests already standing by via Zoom to share more light on this very issue. I have retired General Idris Bello. He's a retired military personnel. If you can hear me, a very good morning to you, General.
Good morning, how are you?
If you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
We have also joining us David Okoro. He is a security analyst. Very good morning to you, David.
Good morning.
We're still trying to get General Idris on the line, but if you can hear me clearly, Dr. David Okoro. Okay, that's General Idris, retired. A very good morning to you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
It seems to be having an audio challenge there. I can't barely hear General Idris and Dr. Okoro. But let me go back to Dr. Okoro. If you can hear me this morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I am hearing you.
Issued where the U.S. president has issued a threat to Nigeria to see how we tackle insecurity, placing Nigeria on a red alert, if I should use that word, because it has been a negative narration since the president of U.S. made that pronouncement. What do you make of all this, Dr. David?
Well, ITV, thank you for having me. This is an issue that has generated global attention because of the person the threats are coming from, his known antecedents, and the fact that for a long time Nigeria has become the case of everybody know Nigeria as a place where there is insecurity. And the nation that have been added to, apart from designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern to the U.S., which has the far-reaching implication. The America is might need to come into Nigeria with guns blazing, and in fact, the president giving directive to the new Department of War to say get ready, we might need to get into Nigeria. It's a concerning situation. But then I want to say that I've used the word genocide. It's an extreme word to use in the circumstance. There are before you get something or an actual genocide, there are characteristics. So, but if you ask me whether the word genocide properly describes the situation in the northern part of Nigeria as it relates to the Christian, I think it's a bit extreme. But that is not to remove from the fact that they have been consistent killing of Christians in northern Nigeria for time. 2009 time, there have been escalation. People are killed. People are killed in large. Hello? Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Good. Can you hear me? Okay, so people are killed in large number. Christians, women are killed. In large numbers. People are burnt in their sleep in large numbers. I mean, so when you see a country like the U.S. are making this allegation and try. Let me let you that there are many researchers that are working, media people, researchers, Christian people, another part of the world, researching into what is happening in Nigeria. So they have data that even you and I don't have. They have carefully compiled this over time. And those information are available in the US, and they are available in the international space to say that Christians are actually being killed in large numbers. Some of them you get to hear about, some of them you don't get to hear about because we are now fatigued. We are fatigued with this kind of information. We are no longer interested, but Christians are being killed. And not just that alone, people are being driven off their lands. So at the end of the day, I did PhD research on this in the central, north Nigeria.
You can hear me. Let me on hold there so we can bring in General Idris, who is also joining us on this conversation. General Idris, you can hear me. A very good morning to you.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
let's continue the conversation with you. You have been in the military for quite some time. Threats like this, what it means to a sovereignty of such a country like Nigeria. Can you just take on this?
Well, thank you for having me. First and foremost, on one-sided impression, which the U.S. government has been giving some very selfish Nigerians that are most that there are more Muslims that have been killed in the present situation we are having of insecurity. And it's very unfair and decent for Nigerian citizens to go out to countries like America and spread this threat emanated. And if you look at it another way, no grounds, particularly religiously. It's the same U.S. that has supported Israel in the continuously massacring Palestinians and Libyans and Iraqis and so on. And so there is no reason for some of release a letter celebrating on social media. Chaos and destroy nation, and this is on lies, and the American government be very, very careful and should invest the true situation before issuing unnecessary.
Chairman Northern Khan, Reverend Joseph Yahab, standing by from Kaduna Session. Please. All right, let's go back to Dr. David Okoro. Dr. David, if you can hear me, get Dr. David on the line. All right, fine. You say that the narrative is, if you listen to what I say now, so much different interpretation to this very trade. Most Nigerians are saying that, why do you wait until they use to trade? Could it be that the security apparatus in Nigeria has not really done their best? Is there really a genotype or a said recently that the U.S. lawmaker feed with wrong of Nigeria as regards the issue of killing. Where did we go? Is it in terms of tackling our security, or we just give the international community information about what is the country?
What I would say is, if you say that there are, like I said, no genocide, you can't describe what is happening in Nigeria as genocide, but there are killings. So if someone can say, okay, there are missing Nigeria, and on another data, they have fact, they have evidence that they put before you How do you describe that? So what I would think that Nigeria should be doing is to put alternative now to say there are no killings, and then somebody, this is the evidence we have, able to say this is the counter evidence we have as Nigeria. The question is not, for me really, the question is not what Trump is saying, but that the fact that Trump is bringing, the threat, it's just that Trump is bringing to the fore the situation we have always had. There are killings on the plateau. Even till tomorrow, there are killings in the plateau. There are killings in Taraba. There are killings in Benue. There are killings in Nasarawa. And in most cases, these killings are Christians. I agree with you from our house to that. Muslims are being killed, but the preponderance, because somebody comes and says, oh, more Muslims are being killed than Christians, then give us the evidence. Right? More Christians are being killed than Muslims, give us evidence. So in this argument, what I think we need is a national understanding that we have a crisis. We have a crisis of insecurity. We have a group that are saying we are targeted. Is to give that group assurance that this government is able to protect them, because what we have seen in a place like Plateau is that the watch of the military, people are slaughtered. It's documented. Under the watch of the police, people are slaughtered in Benue. Under the watch of the military. In fact, it's some of the, I don't think I have the time to show you, but I will relate to you, for instance, in 2018 December, where the Air Force actually wiped out a series of villages when there was a conflict. It was like they took side on one part. There was a conflict between a communal conflict between the Fulani herdsmen and the farmers, and the Air Force literally wiped out the Christian group, leaving the other group. So there are situations that tend to show you that there are complicities in the side of government. But this is not a time for us as a nation to begin to argue. It's a time for us to sit down and say, okay, a foreign nation is now trying to intervene in a problem we should have resolved ourselves. What do we do to address these issues? That Christians are being killed in the north, it is a fact. And there are documents to show this. There are facts to show this. There are evidence to show this.
All right, let's bring in General Idris at this point. What should the government be doing now? Because we've been seeing a lot of damage control. So much has been said, so many, if you listen to some government officials, are trying to paint the issue beyond what it is. Looking at, like I said earlier, that the U.S. lawmakers or those who raised that issue were being fed with dates in Nigeria. So what should the government be doing? Should we just sit and cross our hands, or we should be going for dialogue in terms of diplomacy?
Well, the issue is that we are supposed to have American embassy in Nigeria. And it is their responsibility to do a fact function. They have been on ground continuously for years, so they know the happenings in Nigeria and they know the statistics. We are also supposed to have an embassy, a Nigerian embassy in the US. So these two institutions are supposed to put their heads together and come up with the correct statistics, the correct new situation about the issue of insecurity in all parts of Nigeria. The doctor was mentioning Plateau, Taraba, Benue. What of Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto? So are people there being killed, not human beings, and they are not Nigerians, and they are even killed more. Mosque attacked and people killed and mosque are burnt. There are even more victims. The issue in the Plateau, Benue, Southern Kaduna, they are more ethno-religious than religious, because the initial crisis was started by the Christians. And then rustled their cattle. So it's ethno-religious, and part of these issues.
General Idris, let me get Dr. David's reactions to what should be the way preparing our military, as some persons are already saying, but we know definitely we don't have that. That should not be on the table. But what should we be doing now? We saw the service chiefs met with the National Security Advisor yesterday, and although the essence of that meeting, there are feedback yet, but what do you think we should be doing in waiting, or should we go to a round table and begin to discuss how to see how we avert any plan? Because even if you look at the body language of Trump, he's not backing up on his words.
No. I think what Trump is saying is clear. Trump says that there is a situation of what he called genocide against Christians, and he says he wants assurance, visible assurance from the Nigerian authority that this will be addressed. That's what he's saying, and that if there are evidence that it is not being addressed, then he will intervene militarily. So it's not as if Trump is going to come and start a war in Nigeria tomorrow, but he's saying, look, we are making a threat, but it's on the condition. Now, but my confusion, my concern is that rather than Nigeria come up with an organized response, we are having a cacophony of voices. This man, the president, the ministers, are disjointed. Now, here we have a crisis of, we have a situation of poor crisis communication. We should have one voice, and that voice should be reassuring to the world that Nigeria is willing and capable to protect its citizens, and indeed will do it. We should make there should be an assurance to Trump and co. to say, look, Nigeria is moving in a general direction. We have taken consideration what said and in the US. But what we will do, we are taking steps as a nation to protect our citizens. That is the message that should be loud and clear.
Dr. David, let's bring in the chairman of Northern, Reverend Joseph Yap, is joining this morning to.
Good morning, viewers.
Reverend on the line. Very good morning to you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? The issue, for quite some time now. Khan has been on this case. Will you say that your thoughts, or probably what you've been saying, you have been justified by the U.S. government?
ITV, certainly the best.
Their necks. Destroy their place of worship and their religious and influence. We are can we once to find solution? I am not happy with Trump said, so it must also have been even seem to bomb Nigeria. He simply said, get rid of those or else my military after the terrorists. So those who are worried about this are probably the supporters of terrorists, protectors of the terrorists. Let's discuss how to find solution and get it at Christians and have cried. Not today, even before Ted Cruz got his bill, or Trump with his statement for 2009 to today, I have come out to explain.
All right, Reverend, your thoughts there, but let's, right now we're looking at solutions, just like you rightly mentioned. The U.S. not coming to attack should be on the table now, like I asked the other guests earlier. What should we be doing now? Should we bring up another force that will fight up this insurgency, or we should be dialoguing with the U.S. government to see how we get solutions from them to assist in getting rid of these persons?
The CLS team is fantastic. Our militaries can do that. The police can do that. Look, if you look at what in the last 4 months, the last 2 years, there has been not achieved what there is a shift. Remember 2 or 3 months ago, the National Security Advisor told us how they arrested the leader of the Ansaro group. And then the leader is not evil just because it has not affected you. Go ahead with another thing.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.